Hey, hey, hey. How's it going, my friends? Just want to make sure my mic is on. That'd be embarrassing. Okay, good. We're good to go. Cool, 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 cool. Awesome. Okay, hey, thanks for joining me. I'm actually just lighting up a little bit of Palo Santos. Just give me a second here. How's the full moon so far for you guys? I'm uncomfortable. I don't know about you guys, but like literally in my body I'm feeling this everywhere. Okay, there we go. Nice. I love Palo Santo. All right. Hey James. Honestly, they have been spraying the skies literally all day today. It was beautiful out for most of the day. And then right around supper time, like 5, 6 p.m., it started getting like so incredibly overcast out. And yeah, by the time moonrise came around, of course, skies were completely covered and I couldn't see anything. So no eclipse for me. But that's okay, because you know what? I did my own thing. Um I ended up I mean, technically the moon is still eclipsed right now, but yeah, just did my own thing. Felt the need to cleanse a lot, which I mean, that makes sense considering it's a Scorpio full moon. And I do have some stuff written up about this eclipse specifically that I do want to go over. And then I'll be pulling cards for people. I'm going to go through the 12 signs, and then I have 2 ladies signed up so far. I should actually type up a little ticker, but in the description box below is a link to my PayPal. So if you want me to pull a card or two of you, you can do that up. Yeah, just a little off, James. Fair enough. I mean, with full moons, okay, full moons kind of make everybody a little bit, it makes everybody a little bit more emotional. Um, and eclipses will really only affect you really strongly if it hits something specific in your chart, like a sensitive point, a personal planet, sun, moon, ascendant, etc. Um, for me, this one is hitting a really sensitive spot in my chart, so I don't know. I'm feeling it everywhere, but I'm also preparing a giant garden, so that definitely plays part of it. Honk honk, motherfucker. All right. Hello to everybody new joining me in the chat, and hello if I already know you. Happy to see you here. Okay, so let's get into this. All right. This is honestly not a very pleasant eclipse chart. Um, so I spent quite a bit of time preparing for this. Uh, and honestly, I debated whether or not I should get really technical with it. So I don't know. If you're a person that has a lot of oppositions in your chart, you'll know what I mean when I say I constantly have debates with myself. um but anyway, let's get into this, okay? This is not a very pleasant eclipse. Um the new moon solar eclipse was a lot nicer. However, there are some nice aspects. But let's talk about this, okay? So I'm going to talk about it generally, and then I'm going to go through the 12 signs. I'm going to pull a card for each sign as I go through. And then at the end, if you want me to pull a card for you, like I said, my PayPal is down below in the description. So, full moon. First of all, what is a full moon? All right. This is an opposition. It's where the sun is on one side, the moon is on the other. From our perspective, they're exactly 180 degrees from each other, right? Sun is in Taurus, moon is in Scorpio. What is a Scorpio full moon? Well, first of all, Scorpio represents death, regeneration. It represents transformation. Scorpio is where we hold a lot of the things that we are afraid to look at. Um, Other people's junk, other people's problems. It can also be a place primarily that we hold on to a lot of psychological stuff, our old traumas and wounds. Scorpio also deals with the occult, its secrets, its hidden things, it's the depth. Scorpio is fixed water. So, if you were to think of all of the water signs, you could compare them to some kind of water. With Cancer, Cancer is kind of like the ocean or a moving, yeah, like the ocean. Sometimes I compare Cancer to like a moving stream or a river, even, but ocean, sure. Scorpio is more like a well or a swamp. It's a still body of water, right? It's not moving, it's fixed. And Scorpio is very pure. Um, However, what happens with a stagnant and still body of water if it gets contaminated or even if it has no chance to refresh at all? Well, it can get full of algae and it can get stinky and it gets pretty gross. So, if that water doesn't get changed or refreshed or purified in some way, it can get pretty muddy, pretty gross, pretty gross pretty fast. So Scorpios has a lot to do with purging. And this full moon has a lot to do with exactly that. Purifying, getting rid of something that is rotten, something that is painful and old that we don't necessarily want to look at, but we have to. And by the way, n- not all eclipses are like this. Not all full moons are like this. It just so happens that this is a really intense axis, the Taurus and Scorpio axis. Sorry, not sorry. So let's kind of look at these aspects here, right? So we have the opposition, that's the full moon. What's really cool about this is, I mean, Uranus is right there. It's within 10 degrees, so technically it's conjunct. Uranus essentially adds this unpredictable layer to the prediction. It's impossible to predict exactly what Uranus is going to do. Uh, it's bringing in an aspect of innovation and something shocking. Okay. It's a pattern breaker. And then we have this perfect square to Saturn in Aquarius. Ouch. Saturn restricts. Saturn restricts, Saturn forces you to take responsibility for things, essentially. Saturn forces you to grow up. Saturn gets a hugely bad rap, especially in the truth and conspiracy community. And I mean, it makes sense, but ultimately Saturn is there to teach you mastery. You don't get better at anything and you don't become a better person if you're not challenged ever. So this square from Saturn is asking us to ground. He's asking us to take a huge reality check, essentially. So whatever it is that we've been working on building and working towards, which would be represented in this case by the North Node in Taurus. So whether it is changing your values and discovering who you are and what you actually value yourself, whether it is working towards some kind of material stability, 'cause that's what Taurus really rules, is it's fixed earth. It's about physical tangible assets. So whether that's land, whether that's food, whether that's stacking silver, like something tangible that's real, that you can build and acquire yourself is very Taurus energy. And with Uranus there, that usually, I mean, I'm seeing it come up in my life a lot as group activities, things that ultimately better not only my own situation, but whoever I'm connected with, whoever I'm building with. It becomes a group project that is for the betterment of the whole while being specifically better for me as an individual, right? It's not something that's collectivist. It is something that is still based on an individual's merit and effort, but still adds to some whole picture. That's another way to look at Uranus energy. So, whatever it is we're building, in order to really make room for that, there's something that we need to let go of. That's where the South Node interpretation comes from. So with the South Node in Scorpio, as you're working towards any kind of group project, anytime you're in any kind of a group, there's different dynamics that pop up. Different arguments occur, not everybody agrees with each other. There's different ego battles. People think different, people just think differently, right? And in addition to that, not only are we just different people, like arguments are normal and healthy, we also have unhealed wounds from childhood. This is Scorpio. We have unhealed wounds, different triggers, and different things that come up that can sometimes make us, well, I'll speak for myself. Um, Sometimes I can get a little bit controlling. I got a lot of Capricorn in my chart too, so it's like, my bad. Um, so that's just one like really little example. When I'm feeling uncomfortable, I want to control the situation. And if I can't, then I don't get upset or mad, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't think I'm very pleasant to work with. And I noticed that coming up today too. So it's these little like unconscious behaviors and like depending on what kind of situations you find yourself in, where you are in your journey, how much work you've done as far as like psychological work, because these are Scorpio themes. It's like going to therapy and like digging into the muck, the shit. Uh, Depending on what kind of stuff you've actually done, like more or less is bound to come up during this kind of lunation. So anyway, while we're working through this stuff, doing our group projects, building what we want to see in the future, and simultaneously letting go of, detaching from, that's the South Node, cutting cords with um, old shit. Saturn is asking us to make sure that whatever we're getting rid of, we really want to get rid of it, and that we're making room so that we can build a solid foundation. Saturn and a big ass square like this is called a square configure. This is called a T square, by the way, when you have an opposition. So in this case, a full moon, and then a square, a 90-degree angle like this. It's called a T square, the big red triangle. So when you get a T square like that, that's a huge amount of pressure, especially since we're talking about Saturn. Saturn is literally pressure. Huge amounts of pressure from either authority figures, that's a Saturn theme, from I mean group dynamics, Saturn and Aquarius. There's lots of ways that this kind of a square can play out, but essentially Saturn is asking you to make sure that whatever you're building, it's being built from a place of integrity. And when it comes to a full moon in Scorpio, and if there are any secrets that you've been hiding, um, because that's Scorpio, if there's anything like that you've been sweeping under the rug or not acknowledging, it's bound to come up. It's guaranteed to come up. Now the really beautiful thing and, like, the saving grace of this chart, because there's always "good and bad," quote, unquote, in every chart, okay? And, by the way, I can't see the comments right now. I will come back to see the comments in a minute, but I gotta get through talking about the chart first. The really beautiful thing about what's going on here is the sun and the moon are perfectly trining and sextiling this conjunction here between Mars and Neptune. Why is that beautiful? Pisces energy is about healing. So we have this really crazy lunar eclipse that's all about purging the deepest, ugliest, nastiest stuff we've got inside. And there's this beautiful trine, which is a harmonious and easy to work with aspect to two planets in the sign of Pisces. That's very healing, that's very soothing. That's a beautiful opportunity to take all of that shit and flush it away, quite literally. Back to talking about what the water signs represent. Pisces is also like the ocean, but more like the cosmic ocean. It is all encompassing. It takes all of the previous 11 signs and it's all of them all together. Um, Pisces represents connection to the divine. It can also be losses and our own self undoing. So, there is definitely a subtle warning here to be very careful about escapist behaviors and tendencies, whether that's escaping into like just diving into, like, say, uh, if you have issues with substance abuse, if you have issues with alcohol, if you have issues with smoking too much marijuana, guilty. If you have issues with just playing video games instead of addressing things, this could very well be a serious issue. But if you take this opportunity to, instead of going into the escapist tendencies, actually a big one for me is over intellectualizing things rather than actually dealing with them. Like, if I can just describe it and analyze it, I'm good, but actually I'm not. So that's a thing that I do. Anyway, the Pisces energy here with Mars is an excellent opportunity to help you let it go. You can use uh some kind of ceremony or ritual, whether it's like, actually, one of my favorite things to do is write out whatever's happening or whatever I'm feeling or whatever's coming up, and then I like to burn it. I like to write letters, and instead of sending it to the actual person, I just burn it. Um that's what I like to do. Now there's a lot more detail that I can get into with this chart. Like, for example, the North Node ruler is Venus, and she's right on Chiron. So this is again addressing some deep wounds. The ruler of the South Node is Pluto. He's at 28 degrees of Capricorn. So this this on a global level. We're going to be seeing a ton of secrets revealed, a ton of scandals coming out to the surface. Um, Capricorn has a lot to do with the established structures of society, so governments, um, big big companies, right? Powerful people, uh, and their secrets and dirty business being revealed. But on a personal level, this can be you literally feeling things in your bones, right? Capricorn is bones. So anyway, I want to come back. Freemasons represent. Oh my god. Hi guys. Oh man. Yep. Sorry, just coming back. Oh, what's up, Regan? What's up, Cody? 10 minutes to look at the eclipses in your chart. Psh, I can't do it in 10 minutes. There's too much to go into, man. Oh my god. You guys are hilarious. Okay. I'm going to go through the signs, pull a card for each sign. And then, of course, if you want me to pull some cards for you specifically, just check out the description box below and let's get into it. So for Aries, okay. Oh boy. Aries, this full moon lunar eclipse is occurring in your 8th house. Of course, all of the Scorpio themes, everything that I just talked about applies to you specifically, all right? So you're purging and releasing things that have to do with intimacy and trust. Um, Anything that could have happened in the past that caused you to have serious difficulty trusting others, whether it's old sexual wounds, whether it's a deep sense of betrayal from like something that occurred, this is coming up. Um, as far as the square from Aquarius is for you, Aries, that's happening in your 11th house of wider social network. So it could even be that someone in your wider social network, someone you look up to, some kind of authority figure that maybe even heads some big organization. Um, that could be where the betrayal is coming from, or it could even just be that somebody saying something or some sense of social control is causing you to go through a big transformation. So that could be some snag in a long-term plan or goal or some restriction that stops you from connecting with your friends, you know. But big themes of power and control are coming up, specifically with friend groups, um, and with whether or not you can even trust people, you know. So those are big themes for you right now, Aries. A big solution that can help you get through this: find ways to express confidently, find more ways to be creative, to move and speak or sing in a more creative way. And the cards that I get for you, Aries, interesting. I have the High Priestess. Oh, actually, let me take this down. I got the High Priestess. So you definitely have to trust your intuition. And I also got the Princess of Swords. So what's interesting about the Princess of Swords is this is uncovering some kind of injustice. And it's almost like you saw it coming. You saw the injustice coming. You knew it was happening. And now you have to stand up and say something. You can't be silent about it. Well, what's up, Aaron? What a day. Oh, no. Oh, man. By the way, if you know your chart, you should, not should, sorry. I recommend listening for your ascendant. I also recommend listening for your moon and your sun. Okay, Taurus. Taurus, this is happening in your 7th house of partnerships. The 7th house is not only like contracts with like close committed partnerships such as marriages, like common law partners, it's also open enemies and business partners. Okay, so there's a couple of areas of life this is actually covering, but essentially this full moon lunar eclipse in the 7th house is asking you to release old partners. The south node is about detaching. Okay, it's about spiritualizing and detaching. This some this kind of eclipse could actually bring old partners back, um not necessarily in order for you to reconnect. It could be more likely for you to complete some kind of loop, finish some kind of cycle, and it's almost like the universe is asking you, hey, are you actually done with this pattern, or do you really need to complete do you really need to go down this particular road again, right? So think about that. um Yeah, and like I said, it doesn't necessarily even have to be like a partner. It can be an open enemy. That's the interesting thing about the 7th house. This kind of pattern and thing coming back up or being mirrored back to you from a partner can be extremely painful to look at, but That's Scorpio, baby. The square from Aquarius, this is coming from your 10th house. So this is definitely speaking of, there's an exoteric and an esoteric way to look at this particular square. Okay. The exoteric way is there's some kind of authority figure, specifically somebody you look up to, probably an older male, that, there could be some kind of like ego battle, ego clash, especially with the sun in your sign. So it's like you want to do it this way. You're trying to demonstrate your authority in some manner. And this authority figure has something to say about it. Um, whether, they have other ideas of how they want that thing to be built, or that, something along those lines, it's just not quite getting along. This is really important for your growth though. Okay. Whatever house Saturn is transiting, he's ensuring that you have a strong foundation built there. So, whatever difficulty you're running into now, whatever obstacle it is, specifically to do with career and specifically to do with partnerships, this is really important because we're clearing away the shit that you don't really actually want to hang on to. So, that is that's really what's going on there. The solution for you, Taurus, is to ground down and actually feel into your own deeper, true feelings. Um, Even if you have to step back from whatever your career focus is, or away from partnerships for a little bit, just to check in, you know, dive down. What's actually happening at home, Taurus? Are you neglecting things at home? Are there things blowing up at home? Uh, check in, check in there, Personally, as a Taurus sun, I took a bit of time today to make sure that like my whole room and all my laundry was done and clean and put away so that I could actually focus on doing something like this and actually relaxing. So, also just remember that until we have a healthy relationship with ourselves, we can't have any healthy relationships with others. Okay? That's what I'm getting at. So for you, Taurus, wow, okay, I got the 6 of Cups for Taurus. The 6 of Cups. This is Sun in Scorpio. So I'm actually really curious, Taurus. This is interesting. I want you to pay attention when November comes around. Something that you're releasing now with the full moon in Scorpio, something that you're releasing now is making room for when the new moon in Scorpio happens. Something new is going to spark off at that point in time. But you have to pay attention to what it is you need to be purging and releasing now so that that can happen. So that's really cool. Sweet. Fun. Okay, release done. Check. I'm going to be saying that a lot, okay? Because it's important. You guys are hilarious. But yeah, did you get bit by a snake, Aaron? Cuz that'd be crazy. I might be missing some comments. Da, 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 da. Nope. Okay. Cool. All right. Gemini. Gemini. Do 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 do. Okay, Gemini. So this eclipse is happening in the 6th house for you. The 6th house is traditionally known as the house of obstacles. Yay. It's the house of health. Okay. Your daily habits. It can also rule your workmates. So if you're the boss of anybody, if anybody works under you, that's the 6th house. Um Whereas like 10th house is how you shine and your public image and that kind of thing. So that's the difference between 6th and 10th. Anyway, with the lunar eclipse happening in the 6th house, one way this could play out is having some kind of a blow up occur in your place of business. Alternatively, you could just be feeling this really deeply in your body, right? But essentially, something in your work life balance needs to change in order for you to really keep your sanity, straight up. It could even be that some kind of aspect of your self care routine needs to be changed or let go of in place of you building some other healthier habit. The square from Aquarius for you is coming from the ninth house. The ninth house is teachers, like teachers, gurus, that kind of energy. Uh, and again, the ninth, 10th, and 11th all deal with authority figures in one way or another. So this could even be that some teacher or somebody that you look up to from uh, another culture or another country forces you or asks you to change some kind of habit. And you might not necessarily like it, like, especially if it challenges you in some way that you don't like. Um, I'm not really sure how to be more specific with that, but that's what's coming through. Okay. This could also be alternatively being restricted from traveling. Ninth house is foreign travel. So uh, watch out for that. And I mean, it might just be that you have more hoops to jump through. There could even be like more paperwork that you have to do. Maybe you need to even like redo some paperwork. You know, Mercury's in retrograde. You're ruled by Mercury. Saturn in the ninth is squaring this eclipse. Just be extra careful about like your passport, your plane tickets. Be extra diligent about all of those things. Uh, because there could be some fuckery. And some mistakes. Some mistakes can be made. But overall, you need to be really consciously gentle with yourself for this eclipse because the 6th and 12th axis deals with physical and mental health. So be extra gentle with yourself, especially if things go a little haywire. Um, and one of the biggest ways that you can help yourself through this is to make sure that you're actually physically speaking to people that you trust about the things that are coming up and the feelings that are purging, right? Don't be afraid to reach out. Uh, and you know, it's kind of funny that I'm giving Gemini advice to journal and write, but journal and write. Seriously. Oh, also, even better, learn to be your own authority and put people on notice. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. Learn how to put people on notice. Oh, I didn't pull a card. Right. Shit. Okay, Gemini. Gemini, you got actually a Gemini card, incidentally. This is the Nine of Swords. There we go. So the Nine of Swords. So, like I said, we're dealing with the 6th and 12th house axes. There's something keeping you up at night, whether you're overthinking, whether you are literally experiencing insomnia. Um, I would advise writing about it. Like I said, like I already said, writing about it and talking about it. Um, and then finding some way to let it go. You can use Actually, I already recommended this for another sign that I already forget, but you can write about it and burn it. You don't have to keep the paper around. It doesn't matter. The act of writing and then releasing in some fashion can be really powerful. Especially if you're experiencing insomnia. Yeah. I also find it really helpful. There've been a lot of gentlemen actually specifically in our friend circle practicing dream type things. I think they're trying to do lucid dreaming. I'm not sure, but keep a dream journal. There's definitely big stuff coming out in your psyche and your subconscious. So that's it for you, Gemini. Learn to make people notice, not just put them on it. Ooh, ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. The uneclipsing. It's completely overcast here. I can't see it at all. I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm not going to lie. Okay, Cancer. Cancer, Cancer. Okay, Cancer. This lunar eclipse is happening in your fifth house. Now, the fifth house is children, creativity, fun, quite literally, self actualization through theatrics, you're in your creative life in general. So, what you are releasing with this is old wounds that have to do with your self esteem, with being seen and being on stage. There's deep fear that can be attached to gaining attention and admiration. I know that kind of sounds a little weird, like, why would you not want that? Doesn't everybody want to be on the stage? No, they don't. No, they don't. You can actually have a fear of failure, right? Like, it's easy to imagine people having or sorry, not a fear of failure, a fear of success, a fear of success. So, Cancer, that's what I think you need to let go of is a fear of success. So, yeah, what if it works out? What are you going to do if it works out? Celebrate, of course. I want you to ask yourself, Cancer, are you able to receive? Can people pay you compliments? How does it actually make you feel when people pay you compliments? Are you able to create, have fun, and be the subject of attention, or does that get really uncomfortable? Uh, there's likely something there for you to release if those questions make you uncomfortable. Okay. And this can come up when you're dealing with children. The fifth house is the house of children. So, in your interactions with kids, especially when it comes to like being able to pay enough attention to them, if there's stuff for you to deal with, you're going to get triggered as shit by kids. Um and often, right, if we're not able to pay enough attention, it's actually because our inner child is really screaming for attention ourselves. The square from Aquarius is coming from your eighth house of intimacy and trust. So all of the stuff coming up that has to do with your own self-esteem is directly tied to your own use of your own sexual energy. And Saturn is asking for greater responsibility in this area, um, greater responsibility towards your partners and towards your own boundaries when it comes to sharing your energy with other people. Um, so I got a bit more notes here. So, because Saturn is asking for more responsibility, especially as it pertains to shared projects and being intimate, there might actually be some kind of compromise that has to be made between what is fun, fifth house, and what is the responsible thing to do in this partnership. Um, that can come out in multiple different ways, but that's kind of how I see it playing out. Um, so ultimately, the choice is yours, Cancer. Do you get resentful and act out? Do you open up and allow some deep healing to occur? Ultimately, it's about not pointing the finger outwards when stuff does come out, but looking to nurture the child within to see what they need and making sure that you're being fair with your partners. The biggest solution for you, Cancer, is what are your values? What are your needs? Are you attending to them? And the questions I asked to open for you, Cancer, are you able to receive things? So not only do you have to know what your needs are, you have to be able to ask for them to be met. And the card for you, Cancer, is wow, the Wheel of Fortune. Hell yeah. Wheel of Fortune. So that's pretty cool. That's exciting, actually. Uh, hmm. Overall, this is a very lucky card. This is Jupiter, and Jupiter wants to bring you some blessings. I really feel like similar to how Taurus has something very special waiting to start in November. Um, very similar to that. As you are purging whatever's coming up for you in regards to the fifth house stuff I was talking about, as you're purging that and letting go and detaching, keep in the back of your mind the fact that you have something really beautiful coming for you to replace that. Okay. Fifth house is the house of fun, right? It's the house of luck, and Jupiter wants to bring you blessings. So purge what you can now, go through the crappy stuff now so that you can welcome in more abundance, more fun, more pleasure later. So that's neat. Totally. Lucid to the moon. Okay, Leo. So, Leo, this is happening in your fourth house. The fourth house is the house of home, your ancestry, and your deep and hidden emotions. Okay. So, this is likely to stir up incredibly deep, 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 and hidden stuff that you usually don't let out for other people to see. I mean, unless you're like Aaron and you're an open book. um, Craziness at home. Quite literally, craziness at home. That's what this eclipse is bringing up. Uh, so this is literally bringing about chaos in the home, especially if you're not ready to own the different shadows that are coming up and out of the closet. And I mean, it can be a bit of both. It can be a bit of like, hey, some of this is the result of me needing to look at my own shit, and some of it could just be eclipse lunacy. Um, but essentially, you're releasing very deeply seated wounds that probably have an ancestral or even past life root that probably echoed all throughout your childhood. And it's okay to let it go. The square from Aquarius, Leo, this is coming from the seventh house of partnerships and open enemies. So it's quite likely that your partnership, whether it's your marriage partner, common law partner, or even business partners, are triggering some kind of unconscious wounding to come up. And then it might not even be that it's coming out as like some fight. It doesn't have to be so obvious. It can be really, really subtle. Um, but I mean, regardless, shit's coming out to be purged. And Saturn is demanding way more responsibility in the area of partnerships from both you and your partner in order to build something strong that's going to be long lasting. So dig deep, Leo, dig deep. The solution? It's all on you, no pressure. The North Node wants to help you build up. It wants to help you build a big career, a legacy. But in order to do that, I mean, you can't grow tall without solid, healthy roots. So, this full moon is all about making sure that you're cutting out the rot, that you're cutting out you're pruning, right? You're pruning the dead shit away. That's what this full moon is all about, okay? So allow it to help you purge so that you can shine. Love you, Leo. Any deeper and you'll have to start calling me Odin. I can't keep always going in. Yeah, Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Um, well, you got the Four of Cups. Interesting. This is a Cancer card. This is specifically Moon in Cancer, so very, very much focused on the home. This actually tells me that there is a lot of abundance at home. Um, Possibly even an overabundance. What's kind of beautiful about the Four of Cups is that it's overflowing. There's this stability that you feel from the Four of Cups. But I mean, that's an opiate flower. That's a poppy. So something about the Four of Cups is that it's very comforting, right? But what happens if we're too comfortable? We get a little stagnant, right? Um, we start taking for granted things that we really should be grateful for. So the Four of Cups is a really beautiful energy, especially if you're coming from really shittier, turbulent stuff. But just be careful not to get too comfortable, you know? And yeah, it kind of sounds like this eclipse is not letting you be too comfortable because it's bringing things to the surface. Just reading the stars, man. It's not me. Don't shoot the messenger. Oh man. All right, Virgo. Okay. So Virgo, this eclipse is happening in your third house. This is the house of communication, of learning, of seeking the truth. Um, a full moon like this happening in the third house, this is uncovering some deep hidden truth. Um, this can be even you trying to attach, or not attach, rather, but release attachment to certain ideas, certain versions of the truth that you thought were reality, what you thought was actually real. You need to kind of maybe analyze what needs to be let go of. There is a bit of a caution here to not overshare, especially with this Scorpio energy, because Scorpio is all about like bonding and merging and stuff. There's not a whole lot of boundaries there. So just, don't overshare. Just don't overshare. There's like a verbal purging that's possible. So just be conscious of who you're sharing with. Make sure that it's people that you can actually trust. Um, you might even realize that some new thing that you've been learning is actually not the path that you want to go down, and you might want to scrap it or scrap your online presence, or, you know, there's a few different ways that this could play out. Um, but essentially, this is going to bring some big awareness to something that you need to know and something that you need to let go of. So the square from Aquarius is coming from your sixth house. So the sixth house is about your health. So you could discover like the details and the facts of a situation contradict with the truth that you thought you knew, specifically about a major health or habit related topic. Um, it could even be that that kind of a topic ends up being the catalyst that requires this transformation in the information that you're seeking. Um, Alternatively, since the sixth house also deals with debts, there could be some like debt that you forgot about or neglected that comes up for repayment. And Saturn, thanks Saturn. Saturn is kind of technically, uh, okay, you can't blame it on Saturn. Saturn's not responsible for that. It's just that if that is a situation that needs to be rectified, then Saturn is going to make you rectify it. Um, and it's really important that you address this debt if that is true for you, whatever addressing it means for you, because there's different ways to address debt. Um, but that will be important in order to keep some integrity, in order to keep your integrity. Regardless, there's some big transformations occurring around your attitude and how you think about things. So, a big solution that could help you through this is, well, you might just need to surrender and let go of your control over the situation. You could even have different solutions, creative solutions, come to you during meditation or dream time. So definitely keep a dream journal. Wow. Okay. Libra. So Libra, this is happening in your second house, Libra. So the second house is literally possessions. Um, Possessions and your self-worth. So this is actually asking you to purge some possessions. Literally get rid of some shit. Uh, this could even be asking you to make big changes with your diet, the things that you put in your mouth, quite literally. That's second house. Or how you make money or your beliefs around money. Um, you might need to remove something from your budget in order to make room for something else. Um, it could even be like the second house deals with a general sense of security. Like, okay, I'm keeping that. Um, some kind of security concern could come up where you need to even potentially ask for help to help you restructure how you physically support yourself. That's second house themes. The square to Aquarius is coming from your fifth house of children and creative projects. So, some baby of yours, whether that's an actual child or whether that's like a small business, something that you consider to be like your creative child, is the thing that's causing you to need to restructure your budget, your diet, and even your self worth. Um, so, it could be triggering that or it could be the cause of that. Um, some potential solution that could help you through this. So, because these really deep fears are coming up around the ability to even survive, remember that you're not in this alone. There are always people around you, whether it's friends, whether you're speaking to some kind of a therapist, whether you have siblings, um, there's always somebody, and even a higher power. There's always somebody. You're never alone. And there are ways that you can ask for help that it doesn't make you weak to ask for help or for assistance. It doesn't make you a worse person, nothing like that. It actually shows a lot of strength. So that's my that's my big takeaway for you is to outsource some things or even delegate some things to your wider social network. And the card that I got for you is actually Temperance. So this is asking you, Libra, to not everything has to be such a perfect balancing act that you're doing all of the things and juggling all of the things. You can ask some people to take some things off of your plate. Um, and in the process, help yourself through this transformation. Um, Having this eclipse occur in the second house, this is also asking you to have some temperance or some self control about the things that you're consuming, like quite literally. Um, and I mean, I don't really need to tell Libra this, but remember that beauty is very, very helpful and highly spiritual. One of the names for this card is art. So be a little artful with it. Libra, don't ask for help. Oh my god. Hey girl, hey. I just assume it's legs. Oh man. Yeah, J-Lo. We're here for you, girl. Okay. All right, Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio. The only sunglasses I have right now are these safety glasses. Scorpio. Okay, I feel silly. I can't do it. I tried. This is a first house eclipse. Your entire life is being shaken up. Good luck. No. Luck. Something really important is being revealed about who you are, who you present yourself to be. Because this is happening in your first house, it can quite literally show up anywhere in your life, or it's a literal physical transformation that you're going through. So something big is bound to come out to be looked closely at and release. The square from Aquarius, um, that's coming from the fourth house. So there's more you're being asked to take a lot more responsibility in the home, whether that's building a new home, whether it's renovating the home, whether it's actually participating in the activities in the home, building a community, whatever it is, you're being asked to have a bigger role. Um, and considering that the security at home could be what is being threatened, which brings a lot of huge primordial fears and anxieties up. I mean, that could be one of the big things that's spurring on this transformation. Okay. Um, Try not to play a blame game because this is an amazing opportunity to release very deep wounds. Uh, and build something that is more solid and longer lasting. Okay. But this only happens if we actually surrender to the transformation. Yay. So for you, I got, hold on. Okay, actually, a ton of cards just flipped over. So I'm actually going to fix that. Okay, Scorpio, for you, I got the King of Swords. Did I say swords? I meant cups. This is you. That's kind of cool, actually. This is literally a Scorpio card. Okay. Like I said, Scorpio, this is affecting pretty much this eclipse is touching every area of your life in some way. You're being asked to step into more of who you actually are, not who you are on the surface, who you actually are. So you're being asked to trust. You're being asked to open up a little bit. You're being asked to reveal just a little bit of your secrets. Not all of them. You can keep a few cards close to your chest and not, you don't have to show us everything. But there's going to be stuff that comes out, whether it's about you, whether it's about your life, whether it's about something that you don't really want to show to the world. Whatever it is, you're being asked to have some emotional maturity about it. Surrender and go through the transformation with us, and it'll be better on the other side. I've got really hot just now, like burning up. Holy. Oh my god. Oh. Okay. Sag. It's too warm for the hat. Seriously, what the hell? Oh my gosh. Oh man. That's a lot of pressure, Scorpio. Okay. Sagittarius. This is happening in your 12th house, okay? 12th house is your subconscious, it's the dream realm. It's places of isolation. So, this can cause a lot of deep, deep, deep fears and phobias to surface, likely in your dreams. So, use this time to go within to meditate on whatever's coming up. If you haven't been keeping a dream journal, keep a dream journal. I'm pretty sure I've been saying that the entire time we've had planets going through Pisces. Keep a fucking dream journal. Please. um there is definitely a subtle warning because the 12th house can be the place of our undoing. So this is a time to clear out the things that otherwise could cause some kind of a downfall. So how are you self-sabotaging lately? Where could you possibly be escaping and ignoring rather than facing what needs to be cleared out? Um Eclipse energy is going to bring it up, so it's best to just face it head on and deal with it as it comes up rather than allowing it to explode later. The square from Aquarius is coming from the third house of communication and siblings. So something you see on social media, maybe something that comes up in your daily work commute, or you could even hear something from a neighbor or a sibling that becomes a catalyst for all of these phobias and things to come up, or the transformation to occur. Right now, we don't see our own 12th house. Other people see our 12th house, um, unless you're like a monk or you're really really good at meditating or you've been practicing. Okay. Okay, maybe we can see our 12th house sometimes. Oh my god. um Usually when we've got stuff going on in the 12th house, we end up acting unconsciously. Um, so this is kind of a difficult one to interpret, especially since it's so ethereal, being that it's happening in the 12th house. But this often comes out as like a series of events that occurs that one or two tiny things, if you had addressed them, that whole series of shit wouldn't have popped off. So this is an example. Okay, let's say your car breaks down because you ignored the check engine light, for example. And because you ignored that problem, something else occurred and then you ended up staying home and drinking instead. Like, that's kind of an extreme example, but that's, you decided to hit snooze or stay up 10 minutes later and then hit snooze and then something else happens, right? It's like these little unintended consequences that end up piling up and turning into big, huge things. And all you had to do was address one or two things at the beginning. That's the kind of shit that I'm talking about. Um, Definitely don't take this lightly, okay? Fears and phobias coming up are meant to be released. So ground down into your body using body-based practices, whether it's like using yoga or qigong or some kind of somatic body-based meditation where you're literally focusing on being in your physical body rather than escaping. That is going to help you the most at this time. Okay. So Sag. Cool. You got the 8 of Wands. So your dreams are definitely trying to talk to you, right? The 8 of Wands is about messages. Your dreams are trying to talk to you. Animals are trying to talk to you. If you have Spirit is trying to talk to you. If you have some oracle cards or some way of connecting, tap in. There's a message for you, basically. Oh yeah, just in time. You don't dream, JLo? You don't remember your dreams? All right, Capricorn. Capricorn. Cap, this is happening in the 11th house. The 11th house is your long term dreams and goals. This is your wider social network. This is large organizations. Um, Essentially, what Capricorn will be doing is releasing friendships and social networks that are no longer in alignment. It could even be that some friends come back. And similar to with Taurus, where I said that some partnerships might come back, it's not necessarily that they're coming back for you to get back with them or anything like that, or become friends with them again, or you connect with them. It's more like if there is some kind of unfinished business, it's them coming back so that you can finish that business and end it for good, right? With the South Node and Scorpio being the theme, this is really about letting go and not going back to that toxic thing. This is about releasing toxins, whether it's a toxic friend group, whether it's some kind of toxic connection, whether it's a long term goal that you had that you realize is actually not good for you. Something needs to be released. This can even be an attachment to needing validation from a social network. These are really big and important themes for you right now, Capricorn. And of course, we all need some kind of social network. Like we are social and connected beings, right? Uh, but it's really important that you are focusing on being a healthy individual, not part of a collective, right? And as you are focusing on being a healthy individual, the people that are in alignment with that and that honor you as an individual, they will find you. So the square from Aquarius is coming from your second house, the house of how we feel about money and our possessions. Um, but there's still this huge desire to seek pleasure and have fun with the North Node being in the fifth house. So, this could really be about finding ways to enjoy yourself while on a budget. And if you have friends that require you to be spending on them or are only coming back because they want something physically from you, then this is your opportunity to see through that absolute horseshit and release them. Thank you. Don't come again. Um, there could also be some big things brewing that need to be released in regards to like collectivist thinking, falling into consensus realities that aren't necessarily your reality. Um, especially if it doesn't align with your own values, right? Because that's the big thing there is Saturn is asking you to have responsibility and grow up a little bit in regards to your self-worth, and what you actually find valuable. So yeah, the other thing about that is that this will be a really great opportunity to release and let go of these toxic friend situations so that you can actually invite someone new in, uh that is like more fifth house themed, so somebody fun that's specifically for dating. But you can't do that if your attention is all focused on something that's like not constructive at all. So for you, Capricorn, I got, oh my God, the Tower. Damn, son. Do I really need to explain that? I don't need to explain that. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Okay, anyway. Aquarius. Oh, shit. Oh, we already got Aquarius's card. Yep. That's beautiful. Sorry, reading comments. Okay. Aquarius. This eclipse is happening in your 10th house of reputation, vocation, um, not just career, like true calling, legacy. This is about letting go of your attachment to a specific title or public identity, or even role that you were fulfilling. There's something back at home that needs to be attended to, whether it is building a new home or renovating or simply going through a huge emotional overhaul. There are certain responsibilities that will need to be temporarily released, that have to do with career specifically, in order for you to take care of more important business at home. The square from your first house, since Saturn is in Aquarius, is very much feeling incredibly under pressure. Like you have to be the person that does all of the things. Um, and really, you are being asked to step up in some major way to help facilitate these changes that need to take place. But you may need to ask for help from a significant partner, your significant other, uh, or even create some kind of new partnership in order to help you take care of things. And that actually could be one of the things that you need to release as far as 10th house matters go. Part of your reputation might be um, the lone wolf, the eclectic individual, like whatever it is. You might need to let go of that identity when you're forced to bring in, or not forced, when you decide to bring in some some other person to help you take care of business and keep things moving. So, and the card that came out for you, Aquarius, was the Knight of Wands. So, damn, this is the Lord of Flame and Lightning. Yeah, taking care of business, all right. It's like there's been a fire lit under your ass by Saturn, and he's like, okay, let's go, motherfucker. We don't got all day. This needs to be taken care of. This needs to be taken care of. This needs to be taken care of. And you don't have time for this. Um, that's really what I feel like it is for you, Aquarius. It's more about not having enough time, and something has to be sacrificed. Interesting. Also, I wonder if for you, Aquarius, also that, or if rather, Aaron brought up a really good point. This is an this is a really, really, really good point. Because 10th house deals with authority. Okay. Saturn also deals with authority. Um, Having the lunar eclipse occur in your 10th house could very well be you releasing um, allegiances to different authority figures. That makes sense. Makes sense in my brain. I don't think very linearly though, so like anyway, I feel that. Anyway, these are things to think about. These are definitely things to think about. Okay, Pisces. So Pisces, this is happening in your ninth house. Ninth house deals with higher education, philosophy, teachers, traveling across seas. But this is what you're releasing. So some philosophical path or higher education that you wanted to pursue either needs to be put on pause or changed completely in light of some new information that you gain. Essentially you're changing a lot of your belief structures, and you're changing maybe even how you learn things. This can play out as needing to scrap some plans to travel across the sea. If you were going to travel, you might need to not travel, or suddenly change where you're going. Um, this can also come out in publishing. So, publishing is also a ninth house thing. Um, Maybe you need to let go of the fact that you really wanted to publish something, maybe change the date of it or push it off or change something entirely about what it is that you're actually putting out. So, um but in general, you've been working towards uncovering some major truths and what those truths mean for you, but trying to focus a lot more on things that are closer to home. So, maybe instead of uh maybe instead of thinking globally, you're starting to think locally. The square from Aquarius is bringing in subconscious fears and maybe even phobias that need to be worked through because Aquarius is your 12th house. So this comes out as self-sabotaging behavior. So be extra diligent about addressing these things as they come up, and be extra gentle with yourself. Something that can actually help. This is gonna sound like silly advice, but and I really think this is true for everybody, but something that can help with Saturn in your 12th house is being more responsible about the place that you sleep. So, making your bed in the morning, going to bed on time, showing Saturn literally that you give a shit about the space that you sleep in, right? It's little things like that that can really help you come out on top. So, a card for you, Pisces, is wow, the Two of Cups. That's really sweet. Aw. So, the Two of Cups for you, Pisces. Um, hmm. Maybe, okay, this could be a little bit crazy, but what if changing some kind of travel plans and not traveling, or changing where you're traveling, whatever it is that ends up happening because of the eclipse, leads you on a path to finding somebody new that you end up partnering with in some way. This doesn't necessarily mean that it's like some kind of love or romantic thing, but I mean, it could be. Um, and it doesn't even have to be with another person. It could be finding some new philosophy that you absolutely fall in love with, or finding some new artistic modality or writing modality that you absolutely fall in love with. So that could be really fun. Okay. No travel check. Right? I make my bed every day. Every day. Alrighty, so I have a couple of readings. I've got Christy and J Lo. I'm just gonna double check. Anybody else? Nope, that looks like it's it. Okay, double check. Do 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 do. Okay, cool. Alrighty, so Christy. Thanks for hanging with me, JLo. I appreciate you. And yeah, thank you everybody for coming out. This was fun. If I'm being perfectly honest, I wish that I could have just seen the eclipse, but I was like, fuck it. It's cloudy. I'll go online. This will be fun. All right, Christy. 3 cards. 1. Okay, Christy. So at the bottom of the deck, we've got the Chariot. You're making moves, girl. I'm curious about where you're going, but we can talk about that later. The Chariot is a card of victory. It's a card of movement, and it's a card of Cancer. So I know we're talking about you for sure. So that's great. Helpful. Christy, the other cards that came out for you is we've got the Hangman, and in reverse though, the 3 of Cups, and the 6 of Pentacles. So that's pretty cool actually. So that's a lot of positive energy. And I like that the Hangman is actually in reverse. And the Chariot's upright too. Okay, so that's pretty badass. Um I don't know what's going on because you didn't give me a question. So the 6 of Pentacles speaks to being consistent with whatever you're building, right? Continue to build, continue to put in the effort, continue to work hard. Because what you're building is stable and will probably be something that ends up lasting. This is actually a Taurus card. It's Moon in Taurus. See if you can see it. It's super faint in there, but anyway, this is actually a Taurus card. So it's something that will be sustaining. So keep working at it. And whatever it is you're doing it with multiple people. This is a card of celebration, the 3 of Cups. So beautiful cooperative energy. And then the Hangman in reverse. Da, 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 da. Kind of okay. Isn't Australia flooding right now, or was it just flooding? I don't know, so I'm gonna not speculate on that. But Hangman reverse tells me that you've recently switched your perspective of about something, some kind of new information. It's like your head coming up from water finally, like breaking through the surface, right? So that's kind of cool. Um Thanks, Cody. You have a good night. Yeah, it's like your head breaking through water finally after feeling like you were underwater and unable to like know what the fuck was going on. The cool thing about the Hangman though, it's like this is a very psychically in tune card. And with the Chariot being underneath for you, Christy, I really feel like this is you finally feeling like you have a direction to go and going on that direction. So it's a good thing. Whatever it is you're doing, keep doing it because you're building something stable. Um and it feels like a very positive energy. Okay. Do 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 J Lo. Every time I read the word cannibal, I think cannonball. I don't know why. I can't help it. So yeah, if you would like me to read cards for you, right in the description box below there is my PayPal and oh, oh what the hell? J Lo. J Lo. What is going on? I didn't finish that sentence. My PayPal is down below if you want me to pull some cards for you. Otherwise, this is my last reading. So J Lo, I got for you. Yeah, don't panic, but I got the Sun. Okay, I pulled 3 cards by the way, but I got the Sun upright, which is a beautiful energy. It's very freeing, right? There's 2 girls dancing. It's about freedom. It's about joy. It's about shining. It's about stepping into your authority in some manner. Um, Shining like the bright beacon that you are. Because I feel like you constantly hold yourself back. In fact, I witness it a lot. You also got the 2 of Swords, 2 swords in reverse. So it's like you intuitively know things, but you stop yourself from expressing it a lot. Um, so you gotta stop being so indecisive about expressing it because often you're on point. Even if we're not tapped in enough to understand what you're saying, you're still on point, okay? And especially when it comes to your like oracle card pulls, um, those have always been so freaking on point because you're connected and tapped in um, to source. That's what the Sun card represents. And then the other card I got for you is the Five of Cups, but reversed. So that's actually really positive. So the Five of Cups implies some kind of loss and grief. But reverse tells me that you're actually coming out of that or about to come out of that. So in the Five of Cups card, often when we're in a state of grieving, there is so much beauty and abundance. We just can't see it because we're grieving, and that's okay. It's important to go through the stages and not rush anything when you're, experiencing intense emotions, whatever they be. You can't skip steps. But to me, it feels like you are finally coming to a place where you can see the beautiful things around you again, slowly but surely. And I really want to encourage you to step into your authority and shine like the beautiful beacon that you are, right? The card that I see underneath the deck for you is actually the Seven of Swords. Yeah, girl, take it. The Seven of Swords. Now, I don't read it as deception all of the time. It totally depends on the context that it comes out. The Seven of Swords to me talks about being incredibly clever and intelligent. And this tells me that you are, but it's underneath the deck, so it's hidden. So you're overthinking it way too much. That's really all that is. Okay? Overthinking it way too much. Let yourself shine. Okay. Last call. Does anybody want me to read for them? Um PayPal's in the description, and I'm refreshing my page. If not, it's bedtime. Cody, I thought you were going to bed. Okay, I'll pull one last card for everybody. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. It is a Sunday night, so it's kind of a weird night to do this, but it's an eclipse night. I don't choose the days, you know what I mean? Okay, wow. I got two major arcana. So we've got the universe and we've got justice. So these are the last two cards for everybody, all right? So for this eclipse, okay, we're going to see some kind of justice. The court astrologer. Fuck. God damn it, Chance. Oh man. That's big shoes to fill, man. I'm no John D. Shit. Anyway. Okay, for this eclipse, for real though. All right. Saturn showing up. Saturn rules the world. Okay. All right, motherfuckers. He rules 3D reality. Okay. Cause and effect. It's really all it is. It's cause and effect. We're going to see things pulled up to the surface and brought to light. All right. That's what the full moon in Scorpio is all about. I'm really hoping that we see some kind of justice. How that comes about, I don't know. I wish I could see that. I can't. All I know is these are the cards that I pulled. Here's the thing about justice, though, it's balancing mercy and severity, quite literally. Severity, mercy. Both. One of my favorite quotes from Michael Sarian is that he said, evil contains within it the seeds of its own destruction. All right. Because Saturn demands integrity and honesty, whatever is rotten at its core is not going to stand the test of time. That's what Saturn really says, right? That's what Saturn's all about. The universe and justice. Mercy is a clean kill. Savage. Okay. All right, you guys. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. We're witnessing karma, cause, and effect play out. That's really it. Um, I hope you guys have a good night. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah. We'll see if we come back on Monday for some tarot. Yeah, my co-host is not feeling very well right now, so we'll see. If not, then we'll see you next week. All right. Thanks, guys. Good night.